doing on Sacraments, and I'm not going to delay. We were already a few minutes behind coming back from lunch, and so we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Pastor Janet to continue our part 2 of Sacraments.
Pastor Deb. Wow. Did everybody have a good lunch? Good. Good, good. Um, we're going to start with weddings on page 30, continuing in our Sacramental Ministers Manual. But I want to tell you about this handbook, the second book that you got. This is an awesome resource. This is priceless. I don't know for sure how much. I think $15 is if you're not taking the class is what this is, but it is priceless. I still use this handbook when I do weddings and funerals. Absolutely. A couple of checklists in here. There's a funeral checklist, a wedding checklist. There are examples of scriptures for both weddings and funerals. It tells you how to do a rehearsal, how to do an order of service for a wedding, how to do an order of service for a funeral. Just beautiful. And communion, there's communion in here. But keep this one as a resource for you all the time. Make sure you have a copy on your desk or where you study often. And it's real easy to make copies of those checklists. And that is invaluable information when you are doing either a wedding, funeral, memorial. Anytime there is a whole lot of information to gather, don't try to wing it. Get your information. Have a checklist. Make sure that you cover all of your bases, not just a few. And there's a thing in our effective sermon preparation. If you don't know, ask. Ask somebody. Find somebody you can ask. If nothing else, call me. Call me or Pastor Deborah. We'll at least send you in the right direction. All right. Weddings. One of the minister's chief joys is to help a fine Christian couple arrange their wedding and establish their home and life together. First thing there is Christian couple. You want to know something about the people you are going to marry because you have a responsibility in it and you are going to be answering to God the same as they are. So know something about them. If they are not saved, get them saved. This is a wonderful opportunity to find out where people are with the Lord. Either lead them in the sinner's prayer or renew their commitment and make sure that they are equally yoked. And we'll go ahead with that in just a little bit. Our Lord performed his first miracle at the wedding in Cana of Galilee. As his servants and his representatives on earth, let us bring Christ's living presence into each wedding we perform and conduct. Several forms of weddings are available to the minister performing the marriage ceremony, but are not included in this sacraments manual. Confer with the prospective bride and groom and guide them in selecting that which will best express their pledges of love and commitment. A couple may delete parts of a ceremony, or they may choose to combine selections from several different ceremonies. In every case, their ceremony should reflect the sacred covenant represented as well as satisfy all civil requirements. Now, if you don't already have a minister's manual, get one. This is awesome. It has several weddings. It has several funerals. It has more than just the traditional wedding, which is the one that we address here in the class. Um, it has more contemporary styles. It has weddings for a second marriage, weddings where children are involved from previous marriages. There's all kinds of situations nowadays, blended families, and a sample wedding ceremony, informal, sample detailed formal wedding. Know the difference. Know what the differences are, because sometimes, not often, because most brides have a definite. They definitely know what they want. Sometimes they don't know what they don't want, but they know what they want, and and there are things that you can help them with. So they may be asking you questions. I don't know about this, but how do we handle that? If it's not in one of either the class curriculum or the minister's handbook, it will definitely be in one of these. So get one. It's a great resource. I think they're about $30, and it really pays to have one. One of the minister's first duties after holy ordination is to contact the local authorities, usually the city courthouse, and register with them so that you may properly perform marriages in your state. Now, that is not necessary in Arizona. I don't know about other states, so you would call the clerk of the court and ask. But if you're performing a wedding in another state, find out what the requirements are for that state and make sure that you do whatever is necessary so that you know that that marriage is legal. You would hate to do a wedding and find out later that it's not even legal because of something you didn't register or whatever. So make sure that you are doing all you can do. In arranging the wedding, a minister must do his absolute best to respect the bride's wishes as much as possible. Contemporary Christian music today is just as beautiful and appropriate as traditional music ever was. Selected poetry or quotations may be included with good effect as well. Encourage the couple to keep their wedding as simple as possible. Money that might be better used for setting up housekeeping can easily be spent on an extravagant ceremony and reception. A wedding need not be lavish to be beautiful and memorable. When the bride wishes to have a visiting minister perform her wedding, courtesy will be shown if she first discusses this with the local pastor or minister and includes him. I have run into that. And you can work very well with other ministers, very well with other pastors. You can split some of the responsibilities. One do the ring ceremony, one do the vows, one do the prayer, one, find out what she wants. And if she says, I don't care, you guys figure it out, then you guys figure it out. But just do the best to do what it is that she wants to do. The two ministers can meet and make arrangements according to her wishes, and each of them taking part in the ceremony if she desires. Many churches and wedding venues now have a wedding coordinator who will acquaint the bride with what is available and what is not available from the church for her use during the ceremony. Are there candles? Is there an aisle cloth, flower stand, sound person who will play an instrument? Will there be a soloist? There are lots and lots and lots of questions. So if you're having the reception in the church, what is available and what is not acceptable? Does the church have a punch bowl? Wedding decorations? Who's going to serve? There's just lots and lots of things to be covered. So try to not only use the checklist that we've provided in the handbook, but make your own checklist, because you will run into things that definitely are not on that list. So make your own, make it work for you. Is there a charge for using the building? Will this include the reception, keyboard, minister, soloist, sound tech, all of the charges? The minister should meet with the couple for at least 2 counseling sessions prior to the wedding day, not only to discuss the wedding, but to go into other personal life matters as well. So I find it easy if you know about the wedding 6 months in advance. 2 months before that wedding, you need to have your first meeting, if not before. If the bride wants to do it before that, that's great. Find out what kind of vows they want to do. Are they going to do their own vows? It's going to be a formal wedding, a traditional wedding, a casual wedding? Is the wedding, at the church? Is the wedding in a park? Is the wedding by the pool? There's just all kinds of information that you need to find out and figure out. So the 2 counseling sessions are best just left as counseling sessions. We find that their focus is already kind of, scattered everywhere, trying to pull all the details together. So if they know that they're meeting on wedding details, that's one thing. They can focus on that. If they're meeting for counseling, that's another focus. They can focus on that. If you try to put the 2 together, depending on who the people are, they may not be able to focus on either one. So find, there again, know your people, know who you're dealing with, and the best way to give personalized service to them. In the rare situation where the minister cannot, in good conscience, perform a wedding for a couple, he should tell the couple and tell them all the theological and personal reasons why. The final decision as to whether the wedding should or should not be performed must always rest with the minister, and in many cases, he or she must always be true to his or her conscience before God and before men. So there's another reason for meeting ahead of the wedding, because if you just can't in all good conscience marry them, I've had to do that. And as much as they may be upset or angry with you or whatever, it's better to take that hit than the hit with God. And but let them know why. Just say, "Oh, I can't do it." Well, I mean, if you have a schedule conflict or something like that, absolutely tell them. But if it's because there's an issue with the couple, then they need to know what that issue is so they can work on it. And maybe they will go for further counseling with you, and you will then be able to say, okay, we can do it. Let's put it off for 6 months and see if this issue can work out. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to address that and handle it, but you want to help them, not hurt them. So if you have to, if you have to give bad news, be part of the solution, as well as part of the problem, because they will most likely just go find another minister, and that's okay. Your conscience will be clear, and you will have answered to God and done what you need to do. I would say for both weddings and funerals, be flexible, be willing to roll with the punches, because all kinds of little things come up, and just be ready to roll with the punches. You have to deal with people, deal with their likes and dislikes and personalities and characteristics. So now you've done your counseling and you feel that it's a go and you're ready for the rehearsal. A wedding with processional music and several attendants requires a complete rehearsal in that order on the day of the ceremony, so that on the day of the ceremony the participants can concentrate on the sacred union taking place rather than wondering where to